Practicality dictates that everyone's results will vary as we are all unique and different. Basically, it takes hard work to make a substantial income in this business, and some people will make no money at all. The earnings of an Empower Network affiliate will be 100% dependent upon their skills, work effort, commitment, leadership capabilities, and market conditions. Common sense would suggest that in most opportunities, one would find exceptional individuals performing well above average, while others perform under the average. Empower Network does not guarantee any level of income or your success. To see our full income disclosure, please visit our website at www.empowernetwork.com/income.php.
Good evening, everyone. This is Chris and Susan Beasley here. We are hosting the Empower Network Empower Hour call this evening. Now, these calls have been hosted every Monday night for the last 2 years, and they provide free training for affiliates, customers, and guests. If you're a guest here for the very first time, taking a look at Empower Network, its community, and its products, then a very special welcome. We're absolutely sure that you're going to take huge value from being on this call. Now, for us, it's actually Christmas Eve because we are hosting this call from a very small farming village here in the French Alps, and it's actually 3 a.m. So welcome to this call.
Now, as Susan has said, Empower Network have been hosting these calls for over 2 years. And to us, that's a fantastic commitment. And tonight we're here because we're committed to you. To everybody who's on this call, we made a commitment to Empower Network to turn up here and come and talk to you and share our story with you and to share some training with you. And there is absolutely, even though it's 3 a.m. in the morning here, we went to bed, we got up, and we're sitting here. We're actually full of beans because this is an exciting challenge for us because, you know, a lot of you guys are in the US and it's 9 p.m. in the evening. And I think probably there's very few people here in Europe actually listening to this call. But if you are here in Europe and you're listening to this call, a great big welcome to you because it's either 2 or 3 a.m. depending on where you are for you as well. So we just thought we'd get started by sharing a little bit about us, telling you a little bit about our background. And for some of you, you'll already know us and you will have heard our story, but you won't have heard all of it because, you know, everybody's story is a long journey and ours is no different. So some of the things you're going to hear tonight you may have heard before, and some of the things you hear tonight you probably won't have heard before.
So as we said when we introduced this call, we're actually speaking from a very small farming village. Yes, it is really a farming village. We have cows in the field outside, although it's winter at the moment, so we have snow. But it's a very significant part of our story, as you're going to discover a little later on. Now, we're going to call this our success with a capital C. And you're going to hear some words beginning with a C throughout this training and throughout our story because they are very significant both for us and they're significant for every single person who becomes an entrepreneur, every single person who runs a business. Now, Chris and I are both from a professional background. We're accountants and management consultants.
Well, we were.
And that's the great thing. So it's another C here. We're celebrating that we actually are no longer practicing accountants, and that's absolutely fabulous. But, you know, we didn't start our online journey, our home business journey, until our mid-50s. So that sort of tells you in an introduction how old we actually are.
Now, I'm going to actually tell you how old I am because I'm very proud of how old I am because a week ago, what's today, Monday, well, it's Tuesday really, but a week ago on Sunday, I was actually 60. And it was quite funny really because one of my sons said to me, you can't consider yourself 60, Dad. You're just 2 30-year-olds rolled into one. And I have to say that made me laugh.
But guys, listen, I'm not far behind him. I'm only 2 years behind him, and at a certain point in the year, it's only 1 year's difference. But actually, I'm really proud of the fact that we're able to do this at our age, because we hear many times from people saying, do you know, I'm too old for this. I can't do this because I'm too old. You absolutely can. Now, look, we've owned and run our own businesses since, I think it's about 1983, isn't it, Chris? Both individually and together. So, yes, we do have some entrepreneurial background, but starting a home business was something completely different. And, you know, something like 10 years ago, we had our first foray into home business when we were introduced to the most famous network marketing business in the whole world, which was Amway. So we come from good stock.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, some of you may relate to this because if you've been in network marketing or the MLM home business arena for a while, we got a call, funnily enough. One of our clients was a veterinary practice. And one of the vets there one day gave us a call one evening and said, well, I've got something that you and Susan may be interested in. You know, you're entrepreneurs, you run businesses, you know what you're doing with business. You might be interested in this. And he said, okay, that's fine, let's have a look at it. Can you tell us a little bit more information? And of course, we got the classic answer, well, I can't actually tell you about it, but what I'd like to do is arrange for a telephone call with one of my colleagues.
And that was, of course, a three-way call, as we famously know them now, but we didn't know what that was at the time. So we thought, okay, well, we'll go with it because he's a nice guy and, you know, we didn't want to offend him or anything else. But long and the short of it is we ended up in a hotel meeting somewhere in North London, and nobody would tell us what it was about. Nobody would tell us why we were there. And lo and behold, the whiteboard appeared, and this guy was chatting away and drawing circles on a board. I'm sure it's probably very familiar to a lot of you who have had that first foray into network marketing. But we're not here to talk about that as a whole, except to say, we did join, we did see the opportunity, for want of a better word, we did see that there was a different way to earn our income, and we were very excited to start that journey there and then.
Yes, I think, Susan, it was the principle of earning a residual income, the principles of working from home. And whilst it wasn't going to be easy because it was building a business, the process to us seemed simple. And to be perfectly honest, you know, the process within Empower Network, the training within Empower Network, the way that we can earn money with Empower Network is simple. As I said, it's not easy, and you have to differentiate between those two words. And we're going to take you through some training tonight. We're going to take you through some stories. As we said, we're going to mention the C word a few times, and we're going to be able to take you through our journey so that enable you to be able to either start your own journey if you haven't already started your home business, or maybe to help you build an existing business, or maybe to help you build your own Empower Network business from where you are right now and get you to the next level.
So that original business didn't exactly give us the income and the success that we anticipated, and I'm sure a lot of you will probably relate with that, but it did, as Chris said, it started us off on a journey that we were to look at over time over the next 10 years. But fast forward, our children now, you know, they're grown up. We actually have a grandson who's just one year old now, and you know, we're home alone. We're at that age, we're home alone. Actually, we have still got one at home, but that's the way it is these days. But hey ho, that's the way it is. You know, the thing was, we hadn't yet achieved our dream at our age. We had a dream to travel, as many people do, and especially to spend that special time here in the French Alps, and that's pursuing our passion for skiing and being in the mountains.
Yeah, you know, we knew that if if we continue to work our management consultancy business, because at that point in time, Susan and I, we've been doing management consultancy, working for small businesses in the UK, and we've been doing it for actually approaching 20 years. Approaching 20 years.
Scary, isn't it?
That's quite scary, really. And you know, there were a couple of challenges that were bugging us, if you like. Firstly, we, as Susan said, we wanted to travel around the world because, you know, when we were youngsters, you know, back in the 70s, not like one of our sons who decided that he was going to take 3 months sabbatical from work and jump on a plane and go to Australia and Thailand and all these places and travel the world.
Well, we didn't have those options, did we?
We didn't have those options. No, absolutely we didn't have those options. And so, you know, we still had this bug that we wanted to travel. And as we said earlier, we're actually sitting here in our French ski chalet, out in the snow, out in the mountains. And our dream was to spend time out here. When we first started skiing, which is back in 1991 was the first time we went skiing, we just fell in love with it. Not just the skiing, but the whole ambience of the mountains. You know, the air here is clear. The skies are blue a lot of the time. It's fresh. It can be cold, as it is at the moment. It's probably about -5 degrees outside at the moment, centigrade, I mean, it's not Fahrenheit. So it's quite cold. But for us, when you're up high and you can see for miles, and all you can see is snow-covered mountains, the ambience is absolutely phenomenal. And that's what we fell in love with. And that's why we decided that we wanted to have a house out here. In fact, our original dream was to, in actual fact, own a ski chalet and run a ski chalet. And we thought, oh yeah, this is a great life. We've been on many ski holidays. And it was something we wanted to do. I have to say, until we did it, and we'll explain that in a few minutes. But going back to what I was saying, you know, we were running our management consultancy business, working for clients in the UK, best part of 6 days a week, long hours. We were getting up in the morning and we were driving through the rush hour. And I have to say, just as an aside, I took my daughter to work a few weeks ago, and she's a police officer, and she works in Croydon, which is probably about 5 miles from where we live. And she said, oh, can you take me to work because I'm going out tonight and I don't want my car at work? And we said, yeah, that's fine. So what time do you want to go? 7:30 in the morning. Now, 7:30 in the morning, I have to say, is not an hour that we're usually up and about. But having said that, I took her to work and I realised that, you know, I was sitting in a traffic jam at 7:30 in the morning. And it took us an hour to drive best part of 5 miles. And then, of course, I had to drive the 5 miles back. And I just realised what so many people go through and what we used to go through, didn't we? Every morning driving to clients. So.
It was, I mean, to be honest, we were working the equivalent of probably 6 days a week. It was just absolutely ridiculous hours, but it did give us choices. And, you know, we can look back on that and say that had we not had that opportunity, had not generated the income we did through our consultancy business, we would never have been able to buy this property here in the first place. But things change in your life, as I'm sure you will absolutely appreciate. And there were some decisions that actually got made at this point in our journey when we realised that, in fact, to earn any more money, which actually we needed to do, because as we told you, we're what I call no spring chickens. The only way we could get some more money to contribute to our retirement and our pension and the life we dreamed of we could only work more hours and significant more hours, and actually there were no more hours left to work. We were working as much as we possibly could anyway, and something really and truly had to change. And sometimes it's you that makes the decision to make that change, and sometimes it's circumstances that make a decision for you.
Yeah, now, one of our clients was a large veterinary practice, and we've been talking throughout the year about putting in a new computer system, but no decisions had been made. And so Susan and I, in September, we decided that we were actually going to take some time off, and in the following January, Christmas and New Year, we were going to take 2 weeks off, and we were going to come out to the mountains, out to our house in the French Alps, and go skiing for 2 weeks and just chill out. Well, we got to the October, and this client said to us, the one thing, we've been talking about that computer system. Well, we've decided that we want to go ahead, and we'd like to get it in place by the end of January. What did that do for us? We were in a position, we were between a rock and a hard place. What do we do? And of course, being the consultants that we were, being the fact that we had integrity, and the fact that we always put our clients first, we cancelled our holiday. But that was, for us, it was the straw that broke the camel's back, because it was at that point we decided that things really did have to change. We had to make a decision. We couldn't continue with this lifestyle any longer. And this is where one of the first C's comes in. It takes courage to make a decision. It takes courage to make a decision that potentially is going to change your life. So what was that decision? Well, we'd given up our holiday. We decided that we were going to go through and get this computer system installed. And that's what we did. But in the background, we made a decision that we were, in actual fact, going to change the way we worked. We thought back to that residual income that we first saw years before when we went to that hotel meeting. And so we decided that we were going to give up our consultancy job, our consultancy business, and we were going to give all of our clients 6 months notice. And we decided we were going to start a home business that allowed us to work online. And we had done a little bit of research into working online at that time, and Susan will explain that in a second. But we made that decision. We took courage, and we committed to ourselves that in 6 months' time, we would be working online full time.
So quick gasp here, because we actually gave notice to our clients. We made 100% commitment to ourselves, to our lives, and to our dream. And yes, it was a big commitment, but we committed to ourselves that we would make this work. Everyone thought we were completely nuts, completely mad. We got told we should stick with what we had. We had a successful business. We should just hang on with it. We should carry on with it and retire like everyone else.
That was the problem, though, wasn't it? We were probably unlikely to retire because we just didn't have a pension.
And that's the thing, not everybody knows what's going on in the background in your lives. Your parents, even your children may not know what's going on in the background, and they may see, as our children did, that we had a successful business, we had money, we had the nice things, we've bought this property in France and other things that we'll tell you about in a moment. But they don't always see everything else. They don't always have the whole picture. So we just explained to them that, look, We were going to do this. We made this commitment, and we were absolutely 100% going to make it work. And we were going to make it work because our dream needed to be fulfilled. And as you're listening to this, it may be resonating with you, and you're thinking, do you know what? It's the same for me. How can I do just what Chris and Susan have done? And I don't mean necessarily having a house in the Alps, because that may not be your dream, but you do need to have something going on in your life that is so strong that you need to make a change to fulfill that dream.
Now, let me just ask you a quick question for those of you who are listening here. You know, have you ever sat somewhere? You maybe sat in your office, maybe sat in the car or on the train when you're going to and from work, or whatever it is you do on a regular basis. You know, have you ever sat there and thought, I wish I was somewhere else. I wish I was doing something else. I wish I could be with somebody else. You just wanted to do something different. You were not totally happy with what you're doing. And that's exactly how we felt. That's exactly how we felt. We were in a place that we really didn't want to be. And so I just want you to think about that for yourself. You know, if you're in that position, or maybe you've just thought about it, maybe you're just thinking about it now, you know, you have to start to actually consider that you do have another way of achieving your own dream, your reason why, whatever you like to call it, that there is a way of you actually achieving the lifestyle that you want and taking control of your life.
So there you go. That's exactly what we did. So during the 6 months that we gave notice to our clients, we started part-time with our online home business. We had to go over many, many different challenges, learn lots and lots of new skills.
Building websites was one of them.
Building websites definitely was one of them. It was not as easy as it is nowadays for you to have a home online, which is what a website is. Believe me, it was not an easy job at all. But we were committed 100% to fulfilling this part of our lives. And therefore, every single night, on the way home from our clients, we would chat in the car about what we were going to do when we got home, who was going to do what particular task, who was going to learn what particular part of our business needed to be learned, and who was going to implement that. So as soon as we got in from our clients, I would actually cook some supper while Chris got started. And we would spend maybe 2 to 3 hours every single evening after we'd been working with our clients, setting the foundations of our business. And I have to say, it was the best thing that we could ever have done in our lives. Because we were so committed to this, we were prepared to do whatever it took. The TV, whatever you want to call it, that used to sit in the lounge that we used to watch when we got home from clients in the old days, never went on. We never read a paper. We never listened to the radio much. Instead, we listened to CDs in the car. We read books. We did everything we possibly could to improve our minds, improve our personal development, so that we'd be able to handle anything that came along. Because having a home business, there will be able to see here, challenges, but you can face them when you're determined to face them.
Now, let's go back to our house in the French Alps. We mentioned it earlier on. We mentioned it a few times. I guess that's because we're passionate about it and we just love being here. And we're very fortunate at the moment that we've been here only a few days, but we're actually here for 4 weeks. So that doesn't mean to say that we're just on holiday for 4 weeks, because our Empower Network business allows us to literally work from anywhere in the world as long as we've got an internet connection. And believe it or not, we're actually talking to you on an internet connection now, even though we're on the phone. Because in our house here, the walls are so thick. Telephones actually don't work inside. We actually have to go outside to make telephone calls.
And we'll make you laugh, actually, guys, because the village is very small, and when we're on the internet, we pretty much have the whole of the internet for the village. And it's quite funny, but we can work here. We love working here, and we do work here because we love our business. We love what we do, and it just gives us that opportunity.
So going back to this house that we've got, our dream when we first came skiing and first came across the mountains and in the snow and the blue sky and the freshness and the cold air, we just had this dream that we wanted to live out here, or at least live out here part of the time. And as we said earlier, we wanted to own a ski chalet, but more than that, we'd seen a lot of old properties in France. To be honest, seen some television programs of people renovating these old barns. And we thought, that's what we want to do. But it was more than just, it's what we want to do. It was an absolute passion. It was something that we really, really, really wanted to do. It was a dream. It was something we were going to do. It didn't matter what got in the way, we were going to do it.
And we've never done anything like that in our lives. Literally, we have only seen it done on the television. And just as you're listening to this, if you're a guest on the Empower Hour here, you might be thinking about joining Empower Network, and you've never done anything like that before. You've never thought about you've thought about having a home business, but you've never actually taken that step to go ahead and do it.
Now, to cut a long story short, because we could sit here for hours and talk about how this renovation went, but in a nutshell, we found a property. We had the plans drawn up. We had to get planning permission to convert it into a house.
And boy, is that difficult in France.
Well, it's not the simplest thing, because there's a language problem for a start.
Oh yes, we had to learn to speak French as well.
But the thing was, in our mind's eye, we had this picture of this wonderful house standing in the snow and us being able to run the ski chalet and have guests coming in and being able to help them and take them out skiing and all this wonderful stuff. But as I said earlier, this I don't know, this dream, it was so powerful. It was something that we couldn't not do. But of course, things are never as easy as you like to think they are. And although we considered ourselves to be sensible business people, sensible people generally, and we thought we'd crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's, we'd actually got a project manager involved, somebody who lived in France, somebody who was used to managing French artisans, who were used to running renovations. We thought we had everything covered. But of course, until one challenge one came up. And our project manager, he said, right, okay, we need to arrange to sign the contracts. Can you come out to France, meet the artisans? And that's all the local business, all the local guys who were out here who he'd lined up to do different parts of the work. We had a carpenter, we had a guy who did brickwork, who did cement, we had people who had
electrician, plumber,
all of these, the heating engineer, and there's some big challenges when you're doing a renovation, especially when in your mind's eye, all you're actually doing is, you're knocking down a few walls, putting a new roof on and slapping a coat of paint around. That was our picture.
So here was our first challenge. We turn up here all ready to get going, sign the contract, as Chris has said, and discover that in fact we have to pay 10% of the contract up front to these artisans before they would even start any work. We had no guarantees they would even do the work. And we're going to tell you that was a big challenge. And why are we telling you this? Because there will always be challenges in whatever you do, whether it's starting a business, doing something outside your comfort zone. Ooh, there's another C there, comfort zone. But you know what? It cost us £30,000, I think that's about $45,000, to sign the contracts. Yes, we had to pay that money to sign the contract before these guys would even start work. We were way, way out of our comfort zone at this point because we actually had to find the courage to pay that money to get everything underway. And as Chris said, we thought we dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's and everything was, organised, because that's the sort of people we are.
But of course, there's always things, nobody told us that the way that artisans worked in France was totally different from the way that we worked in the UK, which was normally, you'd employ your contractor. He'd come along, he'd start the work, he'd do some work, and then you'd pay him some money, and then he'd do some more work, and you'd pay him some money. So in other words, you made sure the work was done before you paid, and you were in total control all the time. But of course, in France, this was perfectly standard practice to actually pay up front and then get the work done. And so, because we were so committed to this, we were so committed to making this happen, we said, okay, let's do it. It's not in our comfort zone, but if that's the way it has to be, we have to work with it. And so that's what we did. So that was one challenge. But there were many challenges on the way of this renovation. But I will tell you that I think the one that really hit home and made us actually understand the size of the project we'd taken on, because as I said earlier, our mental picture was we'd got this house, this old barn, and by the way, this house is 250 years old. The walls in this house are nearly a metre thick, or if you're in America, nearly 3 feet thick. So that, it is a very old house. It's built in the mountains. It doesn't have foundations. It's just built on solid rock. But it wasn't until we came out here after they'd taken the roof off, and we walked down into the village, and there was a big crane sitting up outside our house. It was actually on the field opposite, because our house actually sits on a road. I don't know if you can picture this. It sits, we call it a road. It is a road, but it's just about the width of a car. And the front of our house is on one side, and on the other side of the road is a field, the edge of a field. And they had to get a crane in. And what they did was they actually had to build a temporary road across the field to enable to get the crane into place.
Oh, by the way, we had to pay for the road to be built. That we didn't know about either.
So there's all sorts of challenges, but the thing that really, really brought it home to us was the fact that we could stand, and this house is 3 stories tall, 3 floors tall. We could stand on the top of the walls with no roof and look straight down, and effectively all we had was 4 walls and a big hole in the middle. And that was when we understood the size of the challenge that we'd taken on.
Oh, but it doesn't end there. Not by a long chalk.
So the thing is that when you decide to start your own business, when you decide to go for something in your life that you really do want to happen, and you have to make that change, and you have the courage to make the decision to get the thing started, and you have the commitment to go through and continue with it until it gets completed, you will find that there are challenges along the way, as we found with this. But we weren't finished yet.
Well, here's, I suppose, something you could call it funny story, but it isn't very funny. our project manager, right in the middle of all of this, obviously realised, I don't know if you've heard the expression, bit off more than he could chew. Well, basically, he couldn't manage the project. It got completely out of hand, and he just disappeared from the face of the earth. So we were left with still running our business, still having a commitment to our clients, and having to get this project finished, because we had, in fact, borrowed a lot of money to do this, and we had a time scale in which it had to be completed to be able to run it as a business, as we explained right at the beginning. But we were very fortunate because we had some very good friends who were prepared to help us out. He had building experience. His partner spoke French. So between us, we got together and we said we can get this project finished. So we used to fly out from London on a Friday night, sometimes a Thursday night if we could, come over here to France for the weekend, spend the weekend here working with the artisans, making sure that everything was going according to plan to ensure that this work got completed on time. Well, we nearly got it completed on time. The plan was that it should have been finished before the skiing season started, which is normally the middle of December, about the 15th of December. We didn't quite make that. And on Christmas Day, we were actually here painting bathrooms in the chalet. And that was our commitment to this, to get this finished. But long story short, we had previously had someone who was going to take the tenancy of the chalet and run it as a ski business. But of course, because we got behind with the project, they weren't able to do that. So we had to step in. So we're not only running our management consultancy business, we've now become ski holiday business owners, where we have to do marketing. We have to get clients to come out and take their skiing holidays here in the chalet, because we needed the income to pay the mortgages, to pay the loans that we'd taken out to actually do this project. It's all very exciting. Some more challenges for us, but it was our first entree into marketing, to be perfectly honest. Although we did marketing for our businesses, it was very much, and for our clients, I mean, it was very much offline marketing, you would call it. It was traditional. Can't get my words out now. Networking and stuff.
Yes, it was traditional, using magazines and using directories, yellow pages, as we have in the UK. And you know, it was all the traditional types of marketing, and marketing a ski chalet, trying to get people to come out to the Alps and come and join you in what we consider to be probably one of the best places in the world. You had to think a little bit different, and of course, bearing in mind, you know, we're now in January 2008, and you know, people were online, people were searching online, and therefore we had to have an online presence. So what did that mean? We had to find somebody to build a website for us.
Chris wasn't going to do another one, trust me. Not the way it was in those days.
No, so we had to find somebody who could build a website for us. We found that the best way to attract clients was to do video. So, but we've never done video. We don't know how to do video. So we learned. We grabbed a camera, and you know, iPhones and that didn't exist in those days. And we grabbed a camera and we used to go out on the slopes and we just stand there and talk to the camera and say, you know, it's snowing here. Look at this marvelous weather. We would encourage people visually to come and join us. And you know, we had some success. We had some success in actual fact getting people to come out and spend time in our chalet, didn't we?
And actually, you know, one of the other marketing things that we did, and this is really coincidental, bearing in mind the products that we have in Empower Network and the signature product being our blogging, our viral blogging platform. I actually started a blog. I actually didn't even really know at that time what a blog was, and I just did it, and it was around the name of our business. Our business was called Alpine Ambience. Why we came up with that name, I'm not sure, other than it was alpine, and we loved the thought of the ambience of the mountains and the ambience of our chalet and all of that. And I started blogging every couple of days. And suddenly we found that we were being found on the search engines, but actually more than our website, it was our blog that was being found. And we were just talking about the mountains, we were talking about snowing, we shared pictures of the renovation of the chalet, we showed people what it looked like inside. We took them on a journey of what that experience was like, and as Chris said, we did it through video as well. And really and truly, that was how we understood right then the power of online marketing.
So why are we telling you all this? Well, because sometimes in life there are things that you want to do and you may be not quite sure how to do them, but you know how you're going to start. And that goes back to why we decided to start an online business, because we knew that it would allow us to have the freedom and, to be honest, to earn the money, to have that freedom, to be able to do some of the things we really wanted to do. And sometimes the biggest challenge that people have, certainly one of the challenges that we had, was actually making a decision to get started without knowing everything about what you're going to do. Now, as Susan said earlier, we're accountants, we're detail people, we like everything to balance, we like to know the ins and outs of everything. But what our ski chalet renovation taught us was that you actually don't need to know everything, all the ins and outs, every step of the way. Because if you did, it would put you on a path that is very, very, it might get you to where you want to go, but it would get you there very slowly. And it would also, we found, would close your mind to other ways, other things that will get you where you want to go a bit quicker. And, realistically, you don't need to know all the ins and outs of everything. You just need to decide to get started. You need to know what your end goal is, and you have to make a commitment to get there, whatever that takes. And that's one of the simple things that you need to do. It seriously is that simple. So we've got a couple of C's in there. We've got courage. You need to have the courage to make that decision. And as Susan said earlier, when we said to people we were giving up our accountancy business, people started to say to us, friends and family were saying, well, what about your integrity? What about the fact that you're giving up your accountancy business? Why are you doing this? We knew the reasons why. We've explained to you the reasons why. But other people couldn't accept that. And we said to them, well, what's going to change? Our integrity is not going to change. We're still the same people. We still have the same ethics. We're just working in a different way. We're working in a way that is going to suit us and what our dreams and passions are. And yes, we had to step outside our comfort zone. We had to learn marketing, and accountants don't do marketing.
Oh no.
All of our marketing was by word of mouth. That was how we got our business. For our consultancy business, that's what we did. And so this was a big, big change. We had to learn some technical skills. And the other thing was, could we do this at our age? whatever our age is. Going back, if we go back to our parents, and fortunately for us, Susan and I, our mothers are still alive. Unfortunately, our dads are sadly not with us any longer. But in our parents' day, 50 to 60 was considered to be moving towards old age, as we called it.
Oh, what a scary thought.
Scary, isn't it, really?
That means we're old.
Yeah, but nowadays, it isn't.
Oh, you're more old than I am anyway.
Yeah, but it isn't. Nowadays, life starts at 50. I think actually life starts at 60 because we're having a fantastic time now. But, the thing is age doesn't have to be a barrier. And for some of you who are listening to this call, whether you're listening to it live or whether you listen to a recording of it, you will ask yourself a question, am I too old? We did. And the answer is a categorical no. And all you need to do is get out the way of yourself and decide that the reason you're doing it is so huge for you that it doesn't matter what's going to get in the way. You're just going to do it anyway.
The thing is, we haven't told you everything about our story. You've heard our challenges with our renovation and our property, and that was just one of the things, you see, because that property was part of our retirement plan. It was part of our provision, our pension provision for the future. We also invested in some other properties because that was what we were advised to do at the time. And, we went into that very carefully. We gave it all the thought that you should do. But unfortunately, having bought those properties, we very much got caught up in the terrible crash of 2008, I think it was. It seems like an age ago now. But the residual income that we would have been getting from those properties disappeared completely. So there was an even stronger reason for us to build our home business because, we didn't want to give them up. We'd taken mortgages out on them. And, without a substantial income coming in every single week, every single month, we wouldn't be able to pay those mortgages. And we now have that security because we have that pension fund in the form of this property working away for us in the background, but we're also doing something we absolutely love. Our home business is a passion. We love it, and we wouldn't do anything else.
No, one of the things we discovered about ourselves, in actual fact, that we actually have a passion for teaching. We just love teaching people. We love sharing what we learn with people. And Empower Network enables us to do that. The products in Empower Network enable us to do that. The community in Empower Network enable us to do that. And so when we gave up our management consultancy business, and this was only 4 years ago, okay, it was only 4 years ago that we started online. And, as we said, we had to learn new skills. We'd done a bit of investigation online, and we actually found ourselves a mentor. And here's a shock. We were in our mid-50s, and our mentor was 27. This guy knew he'd been successful online. He knew things that we didn't know, but he knew things that we needed to know. So, one of the things that came out of this for us was that when you start your home business, make sure you work with somebody who has done what you're trying to do. And I have to say, in Empower Network, there are many of us, all with different backgrounds, all with different skills, all with different knowledge, but we all have one goal. We all have one goal: to live life on our own terms. And can we show you how to do that? Of course we can. Of course we can. So 4 years ago, we started our online journey, and as Susan said, we started the first 6 months of that was part-time. We were still running our accountancy business. And we joined a program that was really good at the time. And some of you may be able to align yourselves with this. You start a program, it looks the best thing since sliced bread. And then as time goes by, you actually find out that it's not quite what you thought it was going to be. It was not quite what they told you it was going to be. And we did that. We joined a program. It started to work for us. We were working with our mentor. But what happened was the program, it was an internet marketing training system. But the program didn't keep up to date. And that's something that you really, that's something that you really do need to consider when you are looking to start your home business and when you are looking at a program to join. Make sure that the products that they have, the services that they offer, the training that they offer is up to date and is kept up to date. And we can tell you within Power Network that that is absolutely the case. Now, that first business, because of our integrity, we couldn't promote something that we didn't believe in. And that's what happened. Over a period of time, we started to not believe and not have the belief in the product. And so things had to change. We had to look for another product. And working with our mentor, as we did at the time, we found another program. And we found a program that enabled us to move forward, because you're always going to find challenges. Not every program is going to be right for you first time. And I'm sure that many of you here on this call have actually worked with or invested in products, spent money on products, bought products, and either left them on the shelf or found out that they're actually not for you. So we've done this. We've been there and done it. We know exactly what it's like.
But the thing is, there's nothing wrong about that. It's part of the journey that you go on, and it makes you understand how important it is to move forward, and that sometimes your journey will go off in a slightly different direction, but you will learn something from it, and learning something from that will enable you to become a better person, a better business person, and will be able to share those skills with other people that you meet along the way. So what happened next? Well, we needed to find something that really and truly resonated with us, that we would felt absolutely comfortable with, and that would help more people, because by this time we'd realized our love of training, and there were so many people out there looking to start a home business, starting to look for an online business. But there really wasn't anything until we came across Empower Network that was the right thing for the majority of people. And we're not just talking about the products of Empower Network. We're talking about the whole ethos of the company. We're talking about the community. We're talking about a culture. There is nothing else like it. There are other programs, systems, businesses, whatever you want to call it, out there who want to replicate the model of Empower Network. But you know what? They can't do that. They might be able to match or come near to the commissions that are payable by the company to its associates and its affiliates, but they cannot replicate the community and the culture that we have, which actually lifts people up. It gives people hope. It gives people the knowledge that they can be something they never thought they were. And I want you to think about that, because that actually is one of the most powerful things on this earth.
I mean, to us, there are three things, three skills that you need to learn as an entrepreneur. And it doesn't matter what business you're in, whether you're in Empower Network, you're in a traditional business, you've got another network marketing business, it really doesn't matter. The three skills that you need to have are, you need to learn to develop yourself. You need to have personal development training. And that's something that, Susan and I, going back to when we first got introduced to network marketing and the home business industry, that was something that has seriously changed the way we look at life and the way we look at our business and the way that we look at ourselves. So that's the first thing. The second thing you need to understand is you need to have business skills. Because if you're coming from an employment situation, either you're employed, maybe self-employed, maybe you're not an entrepreneur yet, or maybe you think you're not an entrepreneur yet. If you're on this call and you're listening to this call, and maybe you're a guest here for the first time, maybe you're a guest here for a second or third time, the fact that you're here means you have an entrepreneurial spirit, and that entrepreneurial spirit is coming out and it's just looking for a way to manifest itself. So that's the second thing. You need business skills. And then thirdly, the third set of skills you need to master are marketing skills. And realistically, it's only a few years ago that the internet changed the way that we all live our lives. We've all got mobile phones. We've all got laptops. We've all got computers. We've all got iPads. We've got all these different devices, and they are all communication devices. We're all looking. We're always on the move. We're all looking for that information. We're searching for it. We're searching for it wherever we are. We can't wait until we get home to find that information. We want it in our hands straight away. And that's why learning to market on the internet is such a powerful, powerful training.
And you just think about what Chris has said, because that is your market. People want to know how to market on the internet. People want personal development. People want to know how to become an entrepreneur. And the products of Empower Network do just that. So think about the hundreds and thousands of people who need those skills. The traditional businesses, the high street businesses who up until now relied upon word of mouth, now they have to be more competitive in the marketplace. They need to have websites. They need to have blogs. They need to know social media, all of these things that you can supply to them and for which your home business is based upon. So just think about that for a moment. One of the other things we want to just talk about as we come towards the end of our 60 minutes here with you, because we like to keep it dead on time because it's important. Other people you may have heard of in Empower Network who are hugely successful, people like Aaron Rashkin, Tony Rush, Tracy Walker. They, like us, didn't just wake up one day and become super successful. They had really compelling reasons to change their circumstances. And you may have already heard them on a call just like this if you've been here more than once. And if you haven't, I would actually urge you to make sure that you do come and visit the Empower Hour every week if you possibly can, because this will help you in your personal development apart from anything else. But these guys, like us, made a commitment to themselves and to their home business to learn the skills to achieve their success. And we wanted to really emphasize the word commitment because it is so important.
So you've heard us talk about commitment. We've been talking about it all evening, or all morning in our case, about having this reason why. This something that drives you. It's something that you want to achieve. And it doesn't matter what it is, you're going to do it. So you have this commitment. But what you don't know is you're not quite sure how to get there. But you know where you're going to start. You know you're going to start. So we've given you the C of commitment. You need the C of courage. You need that courage to make that decision. And we made that decision 4 years ago. There are many people on this call who have made this decision before then, during then, and after then. Everybody starts with making a decision. And as we said earlier, you don't need to know the ins and outs of everything of how you're going to get there. And I can tell you, if you're looking for a good book to read, there's a book by, it's one of the Think and Grow Rich family, Napoleon Hill Foundation, called 3 Feet from Gold. And there is a lovely story in there, which I have told many times, and I'm not going to share it here because I'm going to encourage you to go and get that book. You know, we're coming up to Christmas, and you may have some spare time to sit down and read, and I would absolutely encourage you, go and get that book, 3 Feet from Gold, because it will really, really help you move forward. So we've spoken about commitment, we've spoken about courage to make the first decision. But there is also another C that we haven't spoken about specifically, but is really, really important. And that C is consistency. You know, to achieve something, you need to be consistent. You need to work consistently on something. You know, let's to give you an example, think about something in your past that you've achieved, that you've done. And it might be something like you made a decision to take your family on holiday, to have a really nice holiday, to splash out and really enjoy yourself for a week or a fortnight. But you didn't just say one day, I'm going to have this holiday and just write a check for it. Some of you may do, but most of us don't. We have to think about how we're going to pay for that holiday. You know, it's going to cost us thousands of dollars or thousands of pounds or euros, wherever you are in the world. So what do? You plan for it to happen at some point in the future. And then every week or every month you put aside some money, or maybe you even go and get another job because that's how much you're committed to taking your family on holiday. But you do something on a regular basis. Every week, every month, you put some money aside, so by the time it comes to taking the holiday, you've got the money to pay for it. You know, everything that you want in life is going to take consistent effort. And it's no different when you're building your home business. It's no different when you become an entrepreneur. It is absolutely no different. Whatever you need to do on a consistent basis. Now, if you think about, if you've got a job or you're self-employed, you go to work because you need the money. You have to go to work every single day to get rewarded, to get paid. If you think about that from the business owner's point of view, you go to work because you want to get paid at the end of every month. From the business owner, he wants you at work because he wants you to do something on his business. He wants you to work on his business every day. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you're an accountant, an engineer, a lawyer. It doesn't matter what you do within that business, whether you do the marketing or the engineering, whatever. It doesn't really matter what you do. The fact is, he needs you there, or she, should I say, the owner, needs you there every day to work on their business to enable them to earn profits. So again, we're talking about consistency. We're talking about doing something every single day. You know, maybe in 2013 you got a promotion. You got a promotion in your job. That just didn't happen without work, did it? If you think about that, did you just go in one day and your boss said, we're going to promote you to whatever job whatever new position they're going to give you? They didn't just say to you, we love you so much that we're just really going to promote you. No, it didn't happen like that. What happened was you worked hard for a number of weeks, months, years. You were on time every day. You worked hard every day. You made sure things happened every day. You were noticed every day until your boss said to you, this person is good for the promotion that's become available. You know, it's you doing something consistently every single day.
So we're coming towards the end of this call this evening, and we've had an absolute fabulous time. We've so enjoyed sharing our story with you, and we hope that you've taken huge value from the training that we've interwoven into our story, because it's really important that you can identify what we're talking about with what you're about to do. And I found a lovely quote that we've actually got in our own book, The Mindset Shift, and it's from Mark Victor Hansen, who was the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, if you've ever read that, also Cracking the Millionaire Code. And he says, don't wait until everything is just right. It will never be perfect. There will always be challenges, obstacles, and less than perfect conditions. So what? Get started now. With each step you take, you will grow stronger and stronger and more skilled, and more self-confident, and more successful. And we have that quote actually written on the whiteboard in our office back in London. But right now, we want you to get back to the person who invited you to this call. And they're going to talk to you, and they're going to give you a link to get started on your very own personal journey.
So, as we said, there are 3 C's. Courage to make the decision. Commitment that you're going to achieve whatever you set out to achieve. And consistency. You're going to put the consistent effort into building your business and building your business online. And we can absolutely assure you that Empower Network is a community, and there's another C, that is absolutely right for you right now. So right now is the perfect time to start. And remember, success in anything takes courage, commitment, and consistent effort.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We are really excited to see you start on your journey. Thank you for joining us.
And it's now 4 a.m.
Just past 4 a.m.
4 a.m. in the morning. So
it's Christmas Eve, and we just want to wish you all a wonderful Christmas. Whether or not you celebrate Christmas, we hope that you have a wonderful time with your friends and family, because that is what life is all about.
Thank you very much, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Good night.
Good night.
Although you're listening to a private recording in a non-disclosure Empower Network customer training, the principles and strategies in this audio can be applied in any business. Although these techniques, philosophies, and strategies may have worked for others, no one can guarantee that they will work for you. We report real average earnings, updated daily at empowernetwork.com/income.php. The purchase of this or any other audio is not required to earn money in our affiliate compensation plan, and you can decide to not continue to buy these forever at any time. We hope, however, these ideas and strategies will assist you in building a profitable, long-term business. Success takes hard work, determination, skill, and consistent effort. Please refer to our average earnings at empowernetwork.com/income.php.